What up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Corporate Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Corporate Gamer. This is episode 21, recorded on July 28th, 2017, The Evolution of Video Game Systems. Hope that everybody had a great week. I know that recently I seem to be recording on Friday nights. It seems to be the appropriate evening to record. Sometimes I try on Thursday nights. I just don't know. The weeks has been getting pretty hectic. As work has been pretty hectic with obviously the time of the year for vacation. So it's a little bit busier. So yeah, I'm recording either on the weekend or close to the weekend. So hope you guys don't mind that. So let's get right into it. So let's see what games I've played during the last week. In the last week, I don't know what it is. I got the itch to play Deus Ex Human Revolution. I picked it up again for the 360. I've actually been streaming it about an hour a night. So far, it's going well. I still love it. I love the soundtrack. I love the voice acting. I love the story. It's just a really, really solid game. I know I'm biased because I really, really love it. I know there's a lot of fans out there, and a lot of people were disappointed by Human Mankind. No, Mankind Divided. New Human. Oh, wow. I don't know where I got that title from. Yeah, Mankind Divided. And I think that Human Revolution is a better game. The only gripe I have with it is kind of the loading times, which are kind of long. Not to save, not to get into a game, to save and then get back into the game. That's pretty quick. But it's when you're loading from a previous save. It's pretty long. And I thought the one on the Xbox One was pretty long as well. So. That's the only thing I can say about the game, but the storyline is really good. The animation seems a little bit dated now that I've played the new version, Deus Ex. But it's still very fun to play, and as long as the story is fine, I mean, I'm all for it. It doesn't look horrible, but it does. You do see that it's starting to age a little bit. So that's what I've been doing. And if you want to watch me stream, I'm on Twitch, and I've been streaming, I think, 3 nights for roughly about an hour and a half each. I usually stream when my wife is not home, when she's working. So that's when I pretty much stream. But if you want to catch my previous stream as well, you can go to my Twitch channel, Corporate Gamer 9. You can also follow my channel as well. So let's get into the news of the week. This is a bit of a bummer for the first story. Walmart confirms it's canceling every single NES Classic pre-order. So, as some of you might have known, everybody's looking for pre-orders for the Super NES Mini Classic. And about a couple of weeks ago, they had, or 3 weeks ago, they had a pre-order open up. Obviously, they sold out. So now, Walmart is going back and saying, "Oh, it was a technical glitch, and we didn't mean to actually do that. We're really sorry." And they're canceling their orders. So those who did notice that the page for the incident was put live. I don't remember the date exactly. However, on The Verge, there's an article. This is where I got it from. Chris Kohler actually put the letter from Walmart customer care stating what they're saying. So they're saying, "Hi, Chris. Thank you for your interest in the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition. As you are aware, this is a highly sought-after console that will launch later this fall. Unfortunately, due to technical glitch, the Super Nintendo Classic Edition was mistakenly made available last Friday evening ahead of the official release date. We regrettably will have to cancel this item on your order. We know that this is incredibly disappointing to you, and we're truly sorry for this mistake. In regards to the cancellation of this item, if you paid by credit card, your card has not been charged. Any authorization holds placed on your account will automatically expire in accordance with the card issuer's policy. If you paid through PayPal or with a gift card, your payment will be refunded when the order is canceled. The official launch date for this item is 9/29, September 29th. Please check the product page on Walmart.com prior to this date for any updates. I hope you'll give us another chance to earn back your business. Warm regards. What I find odd with this is, okay, if it was, first of all, it's a bad customer experience. A lot of people will be disappointed, especially amidst rumors of, shortages again, which Nintendo is notorious for. I don't know. Maybe what I would have done is kept those orders and fulfill them, even if it was an error. You don't open to the public online. Say that these pre-orders were already filled, and that's it, and you fulfill them. That will probably be what I would have done. I know that I have customer service experience. I've been in customer service for quite a long time. I think this was not necessarily the way to go. And the line, "We know that this is incredibly disappointing to you, and we're truly sorry for this mistake," just doesn't cut it. Especially for people that they know how hard it is to find this console, or how hard it will be to find this console. I think they're taking the wrong approach to this, and I think they should have just kept it and not open it up online and fulfill the orders. Now, I do understand that they don't know how many Nintendo will ship to them, which is fine. But you could at least fulfill some of the orders. So I think this is a shitty move by Walmart. That's my take on it. What do you guys think? Let me know on Twitter or Facebook what you guys think about this story. These are all stories that I posted on my Facebook page, so you guys can look that up and comment on that as well. All right, next story. MAME devs are cracking open arcade chips to get around DRM, which is nothing new. So if you don't know what MAME is, it's an emulator. Pretty much it's platform agnostic. You can play it on any platform. At least I know it's available for Mac and Windows. I'm pretty sure it's available for Linux as well. The multiple arcade machine emulator, MAME. So they've been taking arcade games for years and creating, pretty much reverse engineering it to make sure that you can play them on an emulator. And now they're trying to do it again, using, I believe, crowdfunding to try and do this on newer machines where the DRM is actually harder. So they tried to do a crowdfunded MAME decapping effort a few years ago, and it kind of fell short. And the thing is also, it's not as if it's something that you can do like on weekends and you're good to go. It takes hours and hours and hours and hours of time and dedication to get these off. But it's always done, and I actually like, I think, the last line of this article, which I found on Ars Technica. The lesson here may be that with sufficient time and attention, there's probably no DRM scheme that can't be broken by a dedicated group of historically minded fans. Which is true. Where there's a will, there's a way, I guess. Also, the thing about DRM or encryption, I do have a computer science background, and I've always said this for a very long time. The perfect encryption or the perfect DRM will be one that you can't crack, and there's no key. Unfortunately, every encryption has to have a key, or have to have a way to unlock it. So even if the process takes forever, but there's a way to get there, somebody's going to do it. Just give them enough time, and they're gonna crack it. That's why a lot of I'm I'm not saying that it's not safe to have anything encrypted, or it's like, it's just as bad as not having stuff password protected or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's, a lot of these DRM things, it's to discourage sharing, and it probably does the job 95% of the time. Uh, but there's always going to be a group of people that are going to want to do this. The other aspect of this, that which I actually don't know, is how is this going to legally? How does that work? Because in theory, I know there's a lot of gray areas. I'm not sure this is legal because you are reverse engineering chips and stuff so that you can get to the code, the ones and zeros, which in theory should be illegal. But, I never heard of anybody getting arrested for playing a MAME emulator or any other emulator. I believe I read somewhere that in theory, if you own the original game and you have the ROM, it's not illegal because in theory you have the right to it. But I mean, that's a really narrow area. So um, yeah, I just found this interesting. It's more an interesting article for me. I'll put it in the show notes. And they also show you how they kind of do it and how they a very high level version of how they do it and how they decrypt. It's a really interesting article on Ars Technica, and I invite you guys to actually um, to read it. All right. This next one is I don't have much to say about it other than just having an announcement. So basically, this is Game Rant had an article saying that Take-Two teases Borderlands 3 release for 2018. Um, the last Borderland game, which was apparently a pre-sequel, which is weird, was released in 2014. I played the original Borderlands. I really liked it. I did not play the latest one, so I don't know how it compares. However, I know there's a lot of people that are excited just by the fact that how many people actually liked the article and that shared it on my Facebook page. I see that there's actually a lot of excitement for this. So yeah, they're teasing Borderlands 3, so they're probably gonna be. It's rumored to be Borderlands 3. So basically, Strauss Zelnick, kind of CEO of Take Two, had the following quote: "A huge new title from 2K during the 2019 financial year. 2K Games is the publisher behind Borderlands franchise, so people immediately began to speculate whether the new game that Zelnick was referring to is Borderlands 3. So it's just a rumor at this point, but I mean, there's enough here for people to actually go nuts. Um, some people are saying that the huge game is Red Dead Redemption 2, which actually launches this year. Um, so we'll see. Um, I'm not particularly excited one way or another. I mean, if they're doing it's fine. If they don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. There's going to be so many other games that are going to be really, really good during that period of time that, I think it's one amongst the many packs. I don't think it's one game that I'm going to go nuts over. So that's it. Take-Two teases Borderlands 3 release for 2018. Next. So, as you know, I'm an Xbox gamer, but once in a while I talk about PS4, and I have a couple of PS4 stories for you. So the first one is the PS4 update could add major features to the Sony console. So what's rumored is the following. According to GameRant, the aforementioned firmware update is rumored to not only add PS1 Classics compatibility, but the option for gamers to change their PSN ID. The former sounds like a direct response to Microsoft's E3 2017 announcement that the original Xbox titles will be available via backward compatibility. While the latter has been an option on Xbox Live for some time, opening up the PlayStation Classics would give Sony a serious bank of nostalgia for gamers, especially if trophies are implemented into classic titles. In addition to that, the update will allow gamers to hide demos and trials from their gaming history or gaming library, a feature that simply improves the quality of life as players per use their gaming collections. A wish list is expected to be added to the store as well, as one to be imagined that Sony wants the fans knowing that their friends really want for Christmas. In terms of online gameplay, the update will also increase the maximum number of players allowed in the PSN party. So it seems to be cool. A lot of it seems to be in response to Microsoft. Although this has not been confirmed by Sony by any means, this is strictly rumors at this point. I would really be skeptical about the PS1 Classics compatibility, because that would go against what Sony has mentioned even at E3, saying that there's not a lot of need for it, or there's not a big demand for it. So I find that hard to believe. However, they are right that if it's something that's going to be available, you're opening up a whole new library of games from the PS1, which is pretty cool. And especially if you get enhancements in terms of the games and how it plays on the Pro and on 4K. So that's pretty cool. PSN ID, I mean, honestly, I couldn't really care. Even I think Xbox does this as well, and I've had my same gamer tag for forever. So I don't know. I don't think I'll ever change mine. Yeah, so that's my thought on it. What do you guys think? For those of you who have PS4s, is this really something that you're anxious for, or is that just fluff and it's really just like meh? And especially that it's just rumors at this point, nothing's been confirmed. How do you guys? What do you guys think? All right, next I promised more PS4, PlayStation news. So these are the games that are going to be released for the PlayStation Plus for August 2017. So for the August list, you have Just Cause 3 for the PS4, which is actually a pretty decent game. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry for the PS4, which is actually not bad. That's You for the PS4, which is a bonus title apparently. Super Motherload for the PS3, Snake Ball for the PS3, Downwell for the PS Vita, and Level 22 for the PS Vita. The only ones I really know are Assassin's Creed, Freedom City, and Just Cause 3, which are decent games. I mean, if you like the Assassin's Creed franchise, you'll probably like Freedom Cry. Not the best of the games, but no, it's enough. And for a free game, it's pretty good. Just Cause 3, some people really, really liked it. I haven't really played it, so I can't really say. The other ones I can't really talk about because I don't really know about them. However, the current games for the current games for the PS Plus lineup in Europe is Until Dawn, Game of Thrones: A Telltale Series for the PS4, That's You for the PS4, Tokyo Jungle for the PS3, Darkstalkers Resurrection for the PS3, Don't Die Mr. Robot for PS Vita, cross-buy with the PS4, and Element 4i, I believe, for the PS Vita. So that's what's already in PS Plus Europe for. So that seems to be pretty cool. There's a lot more games available here than on the Xbox Live side. So it's good for the PS players. And if they add backwards compatibility to some games, wow, that'd be so cool if they could add free games from the old systems on there. That would be really, really awesome. So that's it for the PlayStation games for August 2017. Back to Xbox. So there were leaks for what the Xbox Live games for Gold for August 2017 would be. It was rumored at one point, And I think one of the games that was rumored was Forza Horizon 2. Everybody was going gaga over it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So on Xbox One, Xbox Live Gold members can download Slime Rancher for free during the month of August. Trials Fusion will be available as free download as from August 16th to September 15th. On Xbox 360, starting August 1st, Bayonetta will be free for the Xbox Live Gold members through August 15th. Then, August 16th, Xbox Live Gold members can download Red Faction Armageddon for free through August. So a lot of people were disappointed. They wanted to play Forza. To be honest, yes, it's not as impressive a lineup, but Bayonetta is pretty good. The second one apparently is pretty good as well. But I know the first one, a lot of people loved it. I never got a chance to play it, so it'll give me a chance to download and play it. Probably after I play Human Revolution, maybe I'll hop on that. So those are the games for the month of August till mid-September for Xbox Live. Yes. All right. Next, new game releases for the week of July 24th through July 30th. There's a crap ton of games this week. I think they're catching up for previous weeks that didn't have anything. So let's get cracking. So this week on Tuesday, July 25th, the games that were released were Fortnite paid early access for the Mac, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Nioh Defiant Honor DLC for PS4. Pyre for PS4 and PC. Healer Only Lives Twice for the PS4. Active Soccer 2 DX for the PS4 Vita with cross-buy. Aven Colony for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I don't know where half of these games are. Active Soccer 2, I know. Fortnite, I know. But other than that, Circuit Breakers for PS4. Citadel Forged with Fire for the PC and Xbox One. Fable Fortune for the PC and Xbox One. Fate Extella, the Umbral Star for the PC and Switch. Heroes of Seven Seas for the PSVR, Infinite Mini Golf for the PSVR, Lost Grimoires, Stolen Kingdom for the PS4, Polara for the Vita, Pressure Overdrive for the PS4, Smashbox Arena for the PSVR, and it still continues. Super Cloud Built for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, Tiny Tracks for the PSVR, and Unbox Newbie Adventure for the PS4. Wednesday, July 26th, Theseus was released for the PS4 and Vostok Inc. for the PS4. Thursday, yesterday, for July 27th, the games that were released were Danganronpa Another Episode Ultra Despair Girls for the PC, Dr. Kawashima's Devilish Brain Training Can You Stay Focused for the 3DS. That's a hell of a long name for a game. Overcooked for the Switch, Leaving Lindau for the PS4, Rome Total War Alexander for the iOS, Cubix Paint for the Switch. And today, July 28th, we have the new 2DS XL, which a lot of people were anxious to buy. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty big hit. It's probably going to be replacing the 3DS. Console launch. Miitopia for the 3DS. Hey Pikmin for the 3DS. Rugby League Live 4 for the PS4. Collar X Malice for the Vita. Constructor for the PS4. It's Spring Again for the Vita. Namco Museum for the Switch. Ultra Hyperball for the Switch. And Sundered for the PC and PS4. That was a long list. Out of all those lists, all those games, I know Infinite Mini Golf, which seems to be fun. It'll be pretty cool. Um, Active Soccer 2 for the DX. Well, sorry, Active Soccer 2 DX for the PS4. I've seen some gameplay of that. That looks fun. Pressure Overdrive looks pretty cool. Overcooked. A lot of people have liked that. It's finally going on Switch. The new 2DS I mentioned before seems to be one that's going to be pretty popular. Um, so that seems to be pretty cool. Um, Other than that, maybe Namco Museum, which I already own on the original Xbox. I don't know how much more it's gonna bring, or what more it's gonna bring to the table. So that's it. And yeah, those are your games of the week, and that kind of ends our news of the week segment. Let me know what you guys think. All the stories are going to be in the show notes. Let me know your comments. Let me know if you like them. If did I miss anything? Did anything catch your eye and I didn't talk about? Let me know, and I'll talk about it on the show. All right. So now for the talking point of the week. So as you probably guessed with the title of the show, I wanted to talk about the evolution of video game systems. So the reason why I'm talking, I know this is an obvious topic, and a lot of people have talked about it, and and especially now there's seems to be a retro gaming kind of boom, or you're kind of in the middle of it. Um, I wanted to go through what the pros are of the old systems and the new systems, and the cons of the old systems and new systems. And you may be surprised at what I'm actually me come up with, because um, I've in all well, I think I mentioned this before. Since I was a kid, I've had the ColecoVision with the Atari module. After that, I had the NES. Then I had the Genesis. Then I had the Xbox 360, PS3. Then I had the Xbox One. Now I have also the Super Nintendo as well. And those are the consoles that I've had since I was a kid. So I played. So basically, I know the Intellivisions of this game, consoles and stuff. But I didn't really actively own them. I've played them. Um, I know that people had them at the time. Um, so what are the pros of the old systems, and what are the pros of the new? Well, let's see. Yeah, let's go with the pros of the old systems and the pros of the new systems, and let's get away other than the technology aspect of it. So from the old systems to the new systems, obviously there's advancement in technology, which is uh, immeasurable at this point. Um, if you look at a ColecoVision console, you can lift it up with one hand very, very easily. It's about the same size as the original Xbox, and the original Xbox was heavy as shit. Um, it was one big solid brick, and that thing didn't move. um, so, the chips have improved. The gaming systems went from 4-bit to 8-bit to 16-bit, 64, and so on until we have today, which it's not even bits anymore. Um, so the evolution of the hardware it's immeasurable. It's just the natural progression. One of the advantages of playing older systems or older games is that the games were usually shorter. I'm not saying easier, but they were shorter. So you were able to play them, in a night and complete them and beat your score. And the goal was much different. Puzzle oriented, or, like I can play River Raid. It's one of the longer games. It does go for a very long time. I don't think I actually ever finished the. I don't think I ever finished River Raid. I just quit halfway through because I'm just fed up of playing because it's taking too long. Um, but the games themselves, there's some quality to those games that you just want to go back and play them. Um, even and also no, maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but longer games or more in-depth games usually were PC games. So if you wanted a detective game, Sierra is really good for this. If you wanted good detective games, you wanted good, environment, open worlds. Well, not even open for back then, but like Police Quest and Police Quest Open Season was a good one. Um, on console, it was simple. It was cartridges. It was games that didn't last too long. You can save. Music was sometimes not like on the NES. Yes, there was music and there was talking, but on the Atari and ColecoVision, the music was very simple, and to be honest, a lot of it was quite good. Um, so in that respect, it depends what your preferences are. Obviously, if you ask a newer generation what they prefer, they'll probably say the newer games, right? Because they look great, which is true. They do look a lot better than than the old games like Pitfall on the Atari. That is guaranteed. But I've said this numerous times, and I think I said this on my first ever podcast. The the graphics kind of come second to me. If the gameplay is good, I'll it's fine. Well, no, I'll play it. I'll make it work. A lot of people kind of associate great looking game with great play, and can be sometimes a false positive because um, I don't know. It just yeah, some games look awesome, but they're awful. Um, and it takes away from the game, you know. So I still say the gameplay is the most important thing, and then the graphics come after that. Um, so obviously the old systems cannot compete with the new systems. So the that part of the evolution was pretty significant as well. Um, Music in games has evolved as well. If you look at, as I mentioned before, if you go look at the original games and you look at the new games, some of the AAA games now have scores like a movie, and they get production value. Back in the day, Pitfall, it was a guy in his basement that, or I'm not saying for Pitfall particularly, but for Atari games, it was a guy in his basement, and that was, and he created some kind of riff, and that was awesome. Some of the best songs or remakes that I've heard is from the older songs, the older themes. Zelda is a classic. Super Mario Brothers, Ninja Gaiden, which has an amazing soundtrack for a game. Pitfall, although it has pretty much one song throughout the whole thing, it's still a catchy song. Um, Now, if you look at newer games, um, I would say Doom. I really love the recent Doom that came out last year. I really loved the soundtrack. It was like in your face rock, and it fit the Doom universe. I really love the soundtrack for Human Revolution, Deus Ex. There's something about that soundtrack that just attracts me, and I love it. Even went to see it live last year, performed by an orchestra, and it was amazing. Um, so it kind of lost its simplicity. Um, you can still find it in certain games, like in Geometry Wars. The game the songs are really catchy in that. Um, but in general, it's these big long scores, which I don't think are as memorable as older ones. Um, the only other one that comes into mind for me personally is probably Halo, because it has that choir effect at the beginning, and you kind of know, hey, that's Halo. Um, but it's not as prominent as it used to be. Before listen to Super Mario, dun, 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 dun. It's nothing else but Mario Brothers. There's no other game that has that theme song. Ninja Gaiden, same thing. You listen to a song from that, amazing. Even Streets of Rage, that soundtrack is amazing. But it's an evolution of music in video games. There's pros to simplicity, but there's also pros in production. And I kind of like the simplicity part of games, um, because I guess they're more memorable for me, and I just remember them. So for me, that's what I like. But I can understand gamers that do like the newer games with the newer soundtracks and the better sounding soundtracks, and I can see that. Um, so next, I guess we went through hardware, went through the music. Um, One thing that's amazing that we did not have at the time, in terms of the system as a whole, as a platform, is you can download free games now. I mean, with the internet coming along the way, and with all these new apps and all these new systems that are coming out, you have Xbox Live, you have PlayStation Plus, you have well, eventually you're gonna have Switch online as well, online service, and you get free games every month. Imagine um, having a ColecoVision where you were able to download some free games every month, or Atari, even Nintendo to a point, or Genesis. That'd be amazing. But you had to go to the flea market and get your cartridges. So and hacking back then wasn't really, modding the system wasn't really an option back then. It was in an infancy, if it existed at all. So that part, I think, is a big improvement. And since there's so many games out there, I think it just helps to promote those games. And if you really like it, you'll buy the next iteration of the game. And I think it works. And the reason why it's continued is because I think it's a model that does work. So um, I think that aspect is good too. Um, in terms of cons, um, I'm finding that the games are getting more and more complicated. And not because it's complicated to finish or it's difficult to finish. It's just that a lot of times it's open worlds and you need to spend a gazillion hours to finish a game. Um, and I know a lot of times a player likes to play one game for a very long time, like Diablo or Skyrim or something like that. But um, you know, I don't have a like I don't have kids right now. But I'm pretty sure if you have a family, those games are kind of hard to get into for long periods of time. Um, and you probably would prefer a game that lasts, like a Deus Ex, or maybe even a Fallout to a point, which is it's an open world, but it's not that doesn't ask that much investment in time compared to those other open world games on PCs. Um, and Yeah, so that's one thing for me. The games are getting, I think, a little too saturated in terms of the market. There's too many games getting released at the same time. Like now, you have the dead period of the year. It's July. There's not much being released. There's a few games getting released, in August, like Telltale series for Batman season two, which is fine. But um, there's no one, no, not a lot of games. So then you're gonna get into the fall, and then they're all gonna get thrown at you. Call of Duty, um, Mario Odyssey, you name it, they're getting released in the fall or early spring. So um, it's all within a period of time. And it seems to be rushed, and then it's like you don't have time to play certain games, so you pick and choose what you want to play. But this would be a perfect opportunity to take, I think last year you had Deus Ex released in August, which is awesome because there wasn't much that was getting released at that point. It was a sweet spot. Now, there were a lot of critiques about the game, but that's not, you know, whatever. I think it was just a great time. It was supposed to get released in February, and it got postponed. And with merit, I think it did. It merited being postponed. It was a good game. I liked it, and I got released in pretty much the dead season, and it kind of. And then you have the games like Titanfall 2 that got released at the same time as is it Call of Duty? I forget what it was. Got launched the same day as another game, and people just didn't play Titanfall 2 as much. They just didn't buy it as much. So I know you want to get out. Games want to get out as soon as possible, but there's way too many games before, and now with all the internet being telling you that there's that many games out there. When I was a kid, I would just go to a store and see what was available and take it, or I go to rent it at the corner. Um, and that's another thing that's been changed a lot. Gaming rentals. I'm not sure if people rent games as much as they used to. I used to rent, for $1. I used to rent a game for a day. Maybe stretch it to two, so I would play $2. And then at one point, I think in the 360 era, they started you rent a game for like $10 and you have it for like 7 days or something like that, because the games are getting so much longer. So that's something that's changed. It's a model that's changed a lot. I just don't know if there's a rental model anymore that's really working. Um, since video stores are kind of dead. There's still a few around, but I mean they're few and far in between. So I don't think they're working that much. I think people just buy the games now instead of just renting them. Um, After that, I mean, I can probably go on forever and ever. The games, the original consoles were, I mean, they were considered mini computers, but I mean, they were nothing really other than the Commodore 64. Now, especially with the Xbox One X, it's essentially a out of the box PC. It's a it's a it's a Mac idea in a Microsoft box, right? So Mac has been doing this for years, where they sell their own hardware with their own PC, their own hardware, their own laptops, their own operating system. And Xbox is doing the same thing for gaming, which is essentially just an Xbox One X, which is a very powerful machine for the price that people are be paying. Pre-orders have not; they've been rumored to be coming out soon, but there hasn't been a date yet. So that's something that's changed a lot as well. Um, I think that um, I don't know if the games prior, like I've tried to play some Atari games and I found them really, really boring. And I had fun with them when I was at like Missile Command. I know a lot of people love that game. I just can't get into it. I used to love it when I was a kid. I just can't get into it now. And there's other games like Berserk, which is still fun to this day. You're just shooting robots essentially. Graphics are not great, but hey, it does the job. Um, so that's pretty much my thought about it. As an end note or a conclusion, I think that a lot of the old systems is more for nostalgia take. Unless you have, let's say I have a kid and I grew up in the 80s and I kind of have that system and it's kind of a nostalgia thing. Yeah, people will be interested, but I'm looking at, I've looked at Twitch a lot. I looked at a lot of retro games. Um, yeah, there's people that do play retro games, but I mean, it's more of a nostalgia feeling. And that's what NES thing is. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that bought an NES Classic, Mini Classic, played it for the first month, got their fill, and then they stopped using it. I guarantee you. Um, I'm assuming there are gamers that bought it as well that are playing on a regular basis, which is fine. But I'm not sure. It's one of those things where you get a fix and then you're good to go. You know. So pros, the evolution has been incredible in terms of the hardware, in terms of music, in terms of visual aspect. The cons, while also the online aspect is what the cons of the evolution of video games is you lose that simplicity, you lose that innocent, just fun and click, and have a joystick and just have a very simple gameplay. Um, some games have tried to do that and bring that back, but I think they failed to capture that nostalgia feeling. of the original games. And I think that the NES is kind of that sweet spot because there's a lot of people that bought the NES and a lot of people like it. Atari is more of a niche thing. ColecoVision is more of a niche thing. There are people that support it and that love it, but I think it's more of a niche thing. So, um, yeah, I think that video games are. I think eventually it's just going to be a PC. It is becoming just a PC. There's very, and also that's another con. The PC market has kind of stopped to be innovative. Um, Nintendo is the only one that kind of tries to be innovative. They kind of bring new concepts to the table. They try to do stuff. Microsoft and PlayStation, I'll be honest with you, there's not really a difference between one or the other system. Yeah, there's a few exclusives here and there, but in general, overall, they haven't really done much. It's pretty much take a PC and put in an Xbox 360 controller, and you got a console. Nintendo has time and time again tried to reinvent itself. The NES, then the 16-bit with Super NES, which is fine. But after that, they got Nintendo 64, and they got into the 3D market. The Wii, which was innovative at its time with the Joy Cons. The Wii U was kind of a bit of a failure, but and the Switch now, which I think the Switch can have a lot of potential. I just don't believe that it has all its ducks in a row yet, and I think it still needs a bit of maturing before people jump on the bandwagon. Yes, they're selling. I get that. People are having trouble finding them on the shelves, but I still think that people are not playing those consoles necessarily. Um, I think they're just waiting for the big games to get released. But the one thing you can't say about Nintendo is that they try to innovate every time. They try to bring, they still have the kid at heart mentality, whereas Microsoft and PlayStation kind of have that um, more serious aspect to it. And that's what I'm hoping the new Atari box is going to be as well. Something that's going to be more for geared towards the classic type of gamer. And I know they said there would be new games, so I'm curious to see what they're going to release. But yeah, so that's my thought about the evolution of video game systems. I think there's more pros than cons, obviously, but there's still something to be said about the old systems, and we wouldn't be where we are today without the old systems. So, and you know what? The fact, and just the fact that the old system, the the new systems will come out with rehashed games or remastered games of older game systems like the NES Classic, or when you have Crash Bandicoot that gets remastered. It shows that there is a market for that, and but what I always like to play the original game. I don't like to play the remastered version or the no, like Halo series. I love Halo, especially Halo 1, Halo 2. They have the remastered series, which looks great. I'm sure it does look great. But for me, it's the way I played originally. Yeah, the graphics are not as amazing. They were great at the time, but they're not as amazing now. But I still like to play the original game. Same thing with my. It's rare that I play on an emulator for the NES. I have my NES and Super NES. I try and get the games first, and then I play them online. So that's my thought on it. What do you guys think? Let me know. That was my thought on the evolution of video game systems. I think I can talk about that for hours and hours and hours on end. But unfortunately, I don't have that much time. And to top it all off, we have for my review of the week is NHL 96 for the Super NES. I had a chance to play it a few Saturdays ago, and I will admit I was not impressed with it. I remember it being a lot better. It's very different from the PC version. This was played on the Super NES. There's one, the gameplay, I get it. You're able to do deeks and stuff like that, but there's one aspect that I kind of wonder why they did it this way back then. The original NHL 93, I don't know about 94 or 95, but the original 93 had three modes: exhibition, regular season, and playoff. And if you played playoff, you were able to choose a team and then play. In this one, there's no playoff mode. You play season, you can end the season today and then start playoff mode. But when you play playoff mode, you don't actually pick a team. You just pick a game to play and then you simulate to that day. Same thing for regular season. You can play every game of every day if you really wanted to. So if you want to play like the Montreal Canadiens, you have to actually play all the Montreal Canadiens and simulate to a certain day, which is just odd. I think it's a feature that should have been included. They did it okay in after that, and they did tweak it in future iterations. So maybe this is maybe that was a transitional year. They were just trying stuff out. I didn't like, and the game was very sluggish. I found that the game was very I don't know. You're trying to play. I guess they were trying to make the players more ice-like, oh, if you turn, you can't turn right away. But it just didn't work. It just the controls were kind of wonky. It was hard to get used to it. Um, and then some games, it's like it's completely a crapshoot. Like some games, I won like 8-0, and then another game I lost 8-0. I played with the exact same teams. It's just the luck of the draw. Some games you win, some games you lose. Like there's no, I guess not a cheat, but there's no kind of way that you can score or build plays and stuff like that. It just seems to just be like that. So that's my review. You can actually go to corporategamer.net to go see that review, and I'll also put a link in the show notes. And that's it for the show this week. If you want to reach out to me, as I mentioned before, you can go to my Facebook page at Corporate Gamer, follow me there, or like me on Facebook there. Twitter, Corporate Gamer 9. YouTube, you can search for Corporate Gamer. You can go to my website, corporategamer.net, where you'll see my my podcast, this one and my other one as well, at roundtable.ca, the roundtable.ca podcast, where we talk about the entertainment, different topics. The last one was new stand-up versus old stand-up, or old stand-up versus new stand-up. And we had a discussion on that, so you can check that out on my website. I also have a trailer of the week, video game trailer of the week, and you can see all my reviews on the website as well. All right, guys, have a great week. Hope to hear from you and have a wonderful week.